This is a scene from Benzo Oz, a comedic drug withdrawal romance. A chalkboard reads Leonard Cohen Oz, Music, Madness, and Magic. As a skinny 12-year-old with glasses, I fell in love with Leonard Cohen and his glorious gravel voice. In part because his brilliant, subtle poetry blew my tiny prepubescent mind, but also because at 12 I had overnight acquired a pretty damn deep voice myself. In 1967, boys did not make passes at girls who wore glasses, but they were impressed as hell that I sang Leonard Cohen as deeply as he did. Their voices were still changing and likely to squeak off into the stratosphere in the midst of a line. I loved Leonard for that. I also passionately loved the best music of the 60s and 70s, but Leonard always came first. Suzanne, So Long Marianne. I had a tiny record player and would make friends listen to my brand new discoveries, Simon and Garfunkel, Gordon Lightfoot, Jethro Tull. I'd sway and sing along or dance. Music possessed me. All the small hurts of prepubescence and adolescence disappeared into the right song, transformed into a dream of who I might be. I reveled in a seemingly unconquerable love for the music of my generation, until it was lost to shame and hurt, betrayed by a friend in theater school. In an exercise given by our drama teacher, we were asked to observe each other's lives for a week, then create a small vignette of the play of our existence. I worked really hard to discover, then perform the essence of her life as creatively and faithfully as I could. My partner and friend, however, was squat and ugly as a troll. Now, that wouldn't have mattered if she'd had a beautiful soul or a merry heart, but that too was stunted. She had great wit, which I admired, but it was malicious as hell. This time it was aimed at me. She decided to do a vicious, shaming caricature of me, parodying my passion for music. Who cared if she wounded a friend? She got laughs. My life made ugly. I looked like an ass. Humiliated as only the young can be, my love of sharing new songs with friends disappeared as completely as though I never possessed it. A shaman would say one of my soul selves disappeared that day, writhing in shame. She took my musical passion with her. After that, I was able to enjoy classical music, but remotely, as though from a distance. Years later, hooked on sleeping pills, the passions of my youth became even more muted, lost in the benzo haze. Until I quit and recovered 80% of my health and completely lost my mind, a boon. Dreams are most profound when they seem the most crazy, said Sigmund Freud, and my life had become a waking dream. Because somehow through hallucinations and psychosis, itty-bitty withdrawal side effects unmentioned by doctor or pharmacist, healing fought its way through. One night, after 4 decades, the urge to return to my first love, Leonard Cohen, overpowered me. It seemed impossibly urgent to listen to the song Hallelujah. I played it obsessively over and over. Hallelujah, a dark and bitter ballad which ends with redemption. There's a blaze of light in every word. It doesn't matter which you heard, the holy or the broken hallelujah. As I felt its power, I began weeping uncontrollably and felt something or someone return after nearly 40 years away. I saw my heart broken open multiple times, spilling out into pieces on the floor. I gathered them up tenderly and reformed them into a mosaic, more beautiful having been broken in the first place. The joy felt overwhelming, large as the sky. I felt whole for the first time in nearly half a lifetime. Then old traumas reappeared in my mind vividly, but like a kaleidoscope, shaken, cleansed of their former power to wound. I observed them with gratitude and detachment, seeing strengths where formerly I saw weakness or ugliness, shame to be run from, despair to be drowned in drinking or numbed with prescription drugs. Now I saw only griefs to be grieved, but gently, with warmth and kindness for those younger selves. Hallelujah. Love, passionate love for all my younger selves and for music returned in this sudden blinding flash. Old music, new music, with enormous love and gratitude for my midwife, Leonard Cohen. His songs became a theme I returned to over and over during the 2 years of medical madness. Closing time punctuated the breakup with those who seemed to prefer me drug disabled and dependent. His anthem became mine. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. The madness sanctified, made holy by a holy, gentle madman himself who experienced it all, and the psychiatric and other drugs to escape his own darkest depression and despair. Later that year, out about everything else, the broom closet, the crazy closet, I wanted to celebrate all of me and came out as bisexual at the Vancouver Pride Parade. Benzo disability had kept me from most events for decades. This time I dressed as Leonard in drag with a classic fedora, long dark suit jacket in the heat of August, and leggings with glittering spike-heeled sandals. Dark, morose, witty sparkles suddenly suffused my spirit, and to my astonishment, I became completely invisible to men, while every woman I saw seemed to desire me. Gay, straight, old, young, hallelujah! A ridiculously young woman who'd always treated me as though I were invisible looked me up and down slowly and sensuously, as though she wanted to follow me into the washroom and slam me against a wall for hot and passionate sex. Hallelujah! I attended my first gay pride, thrilled to the tips of my sparkly sandals. I ran amok, danced on top of a garbage can for 3 hours, taller than anyone but the stilt walkers. I got the best pride loot and passed it out to latecomers behind me. Afterwards, I walked home happily accosted. Then a pair of young gay guys from Hamilton accosted me. "What's your costume?" When I replied, the great Canadian icon, Leonard Cohen, they swooned. Incontrovertible Leonard lovers, they worshipped the dapper poet, had seen him in concert. "May we hug you?" they asked shyly, as though somehow I'd channeled his dark and witty soul. In a pride filled with near-naked young bodies, sparkling with glitter and rainbows, there I was, one of the oldest and dowdiest people at Pride. My young friends, however, were thrilled with this queer simulacrum of their hero, declaring, "We think you have the best damn costume in the whole Pride Parade." Hallelujah. The voices and visions gradually disappeared, lessened, and faded away as the benzos were detoxed and slowly disappeared from my body in the blood-brain barrier. But during that period, I rediscovered all of my childhood dreams and nightmares, burned to ashes, then reborn phoenix-like in the flames of hallelujah, madness, and magic. During my trip to Monkersville, I rediscovered myself, or selves, plural. Storyteller, writer, comic, activist, dancer, once lost to addiction and disability, now reforged in the healing crucible of shamanic insanity, with Leonard, my midwife, helping me rebirth my very soul. Our great Canadian poet and songwriter, Leonard Cohen, helped me see it through. Hallelujah. Miss you, Leonard. Thanks for everything. Sincerely, L. Lawson.